Welcome back to Gale Force Wins Season 4.
The Gale Force Wins podcast is proudly sponsored by the Newfoundland and Labrador Construction Association. The NLCA provides unparalleled opportunities for its members through industry education, construction information, government advocacy, and networking events. The NLCA is building Newfoundland and Labrador. For more information, visit nlca.ca.
Well, continuing on, Kelly, we talked about the first time you touched the Turks and Caicos, but before we get into that, we're in an incredible resort that I can't wait to dive into because people need to come and see this place. There's something special happening here. It's not just the beauty of the place, and it is beautiful, but when you come through the gate, there's a feeling here that many more people need to feel than just us at this table right now.
Before you go through the gate, you notice you're somewhere different by the rock wall that you
rock wall when you drive up.
Sorry, Al, I had to say.
Kelly, who's your biggest fan? Who's your biggest supporter of where we are right now? Because I think that probably speaks a little bit to who you are as a person.
My biggest fan, my biggest supporter. I think in life, you have to be your own biggest fan and your biggest supporter and just believe in yourself first and foremost. You have to believe to achieve. Believe is your mind, your life. You got to believe in yourself no matter what it is. Just believe in yourself, right? You got to love yourself.
100%.
Right? Love what you do, right? Or change it, right? But that said, I go back to that Confucian analogy. Society is like a tub of dye. Man is not an island alone. People are surrounded by people. And I feel fortunate to have had a lot of people that helped me get to where I am, which is it's like payback time, right? Pay it forward in a sense.
Right.
So what other people did for me, what can I do for them?
Yeah.
Right? And even Erica, she's taken this way, she's contemplating changing her life. Leaving Toronto after being there forever to be here in the Turks and Caicos Islands. So I'm trying to inspire her right now.
Yeah.
It's working?
It's working, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So anyways.
Inspiration in front of our eyes.
Yeah. And, and this young lady in behind the scene there, Susanna, that's her English name. That's actually Italian, Susanna, right?
Should we bring her in to introduce her?
She's back there somewhere.
Come in.
Come in for a minute. And so this is Susanna, right? Like yin and yang, man and woman, younger and older, right? And Susanna was just my first year in China. She couldn't be with me, otherwise I'd be in prison.
Yeah.
But again, older people, it's beautiful to surround yourself with younger people, right? Younger have the opportunity to learn from older, fast track, right?
Accelerate.
Yeah. Right? So you can be an old soul in a young body, right? But for older people to be surrounded by young people, it keeps you younger, right? So now when I'm around Susanna, I feel like I'm in my 20s, right?
Can we hear some Mandarin exchange to give her the microphone now?
因为他们听不懂你，所以要这个麦克风要让他们来沟通的。所以他们要听我们说中文。
我是从大连 ，based northeast China， 大连东北过来的。
North Korea.
Yeah, so
East of.
我的家乡也非常非常的漂亮，然后有4个季节，然后也是在around the ocean, same, yeah. 但是我在这儿的 life is total different, yeah. 在我的家乡我是 worker from obviously have English, okay?
Yeah,
So
say in English, but
yeah.
we need to speak in Mandarin.
Yeah. So 我工作在珠宝店。
珠宝店，
最早我的工作是珠宝店的经理。
Yeah, so she's basically manages jewelry stores in China before coming here.
Yeah.
So you at home communicate in Mandarin. Is that correct?
我们在家里用中文英文的。
我们是用中文。
In English.
Yeah, we community use Mandarin. It's why my English level is still this. I learn my English by YouTube. The guys always ask me, how you learn your English? I said, watch YouTube. First try listen. Watch your ear first. Then you study speak. Then you don't afraid you have accent or something. Doesn't matter. You just be comfortable to speak. That's all.
It's interesting you say that. We met a young lady in Budapest when we were there. And she spoke perfect English.
Yeah.
And she learned on Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah, by listening and watching Friends, I think it was her
Oh, there
thing.
you go.
That's where she learned.
Yeah.
我的英文现在还有口音，对不对？
还是有口音的，没关系的。
但是没有关系，我是非常 passion，那
Passion， 很热心的。
很热心的，就客人能感觉到。
对，而且听了这个使命之后呢，绝对有很多中国人。
而且我很开心在这工作，我很开心，就是在这个小岛上，
I'm very happy being on this small island.
哎呀，非常简单的一种生活方式。但是我就很开心，每天我呼吸的空气。
Every day I breathe fresh air.
Yeah， 很开心。所有的客人到这来都是非常开心。如果他们不开心，我会try 就是想帮他们就是开心一
So
些。
when guests arrive on the property, even if they're not happy, she will try to help them be more happy.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's like having a positive influence on people's lives.
非常不同，和我以前的 life， yeah， 非常
It's
不
a
同
very different lifestyle.
Right.
，yeah。但是我喜欢和客人聊天，
Yeah, she loves interacting with guests on the
Okay.
property.
Yeah.
Tell.
Yeah.
yeah，
谢谢。
哦，不用谢，不用谢。
不用谢 is like no need to be so polite, but you're
Yeah, you are welcome, basically. Okay.
Good.
So, thank you.
So, tell me then,
Thank you.
the first time you came to the Turks and Caicos, and what was it about this place that you knew there was something here that you needed to do?
Well, being brought up by my father, who was a developer, who always complained about paying tax. And you know, tax freedom day in Canada now is after Labor Day. Oh, so I labored until after Labor Day, and then it's for me. That's ridiculous. That's absurd, right?
Yeah.
People got to get up off their own 2 feet and just try. If you fail, keep trying. I mean, the social safety net gives you that benefit today, but you got to go do something,
Right.
Trade, not aid,
Yeah.
right? And there's too much aid in Canada today, right? Anyways, that's just as I see it, right? Canada is a beautiful place to get started, but when your tax freedom day is after Labor Day, that's insane,
Yeah.
right? Anyways, my father always, you know, as a developer, he paid his fair share to his. I never really got started there because I left, right? But he would always go to Cayman Islands. And in 1980, after coming back from my first 6 months away, I started a firewood business in grade 13. Had to go back to the bank again, but this time for a $50,000 line of credit. And I started making money while going to come back from Italy, grade 13. And every day I was doing deposits into the bank. Well, other kids are going working somewhere. I've got tractor trailers going up and down the 400 delivering firewood to garden centers in southern Ontario, right? Full-time employees, families, the whole 9 yards in grade 13. And I looked at the money that I was making then. That's a lot of money. This is 1980, 81,
Right.
sort of thing, before going to university. And I remember my father always wanted to go to Cayman Islands, bring his 4 boys there. Never happened. And so I bought him this trip, 2-week vacation. I think it was called Canada 3000. It was a
Yeah, I remember the
company did a hotel room and air. And he went to Cayman Islands for 2 weeks. When he came back, he said, "Sonny, in your generation, it's a place called Turks and Caicos Islands." I never forgot that. And 13 years later, 30 years ago, in 1993, I called it my midlife crisis, right? Because I was either going to change what I do or where I do it. And this is a beautiful place based on all that I've learned from Buddhism and Taoism of breathing and Qigong and extending and having a healthy lifestyle. taxes are minimal here, and lots of green space means lots to develop. So I knew that I could lead a life maybe I don't have the financial wealth if I was, say, in China, or even back in Canada for that matter. But my life has been priceless, right? So it was 1980 when I first learned about it, 1993 when I first came here. That first day I arrived, it was February or March, and it was nighttime. And of course, the first thing you gotta do is you gotta go down to the edge of the water. And I'm looking in the water, just above my ankles. And I'm just looking and I'm looking, I said, oh my God, I can see the bottom, crystal clear. It was like a swimming pool with a ripple effect from the moon above my head, like a swimming pool in the summer day and back at home. I said, I'm in trouble now. But I believed then that there'll be non-stop flow of people that want to experience that. The population Turks Caicos then was around 13,000. There was no internet. I missed my Global Mail and Financial Post that I had delivered to my door first thing in the morning, because now I felt I'm going to become completely ignorant, right? And from then to now, I having the development background. Actually, after my first year in China is when I developed my first little retail commercial plaza in Hamilton, Ontario, of all places. After that, I had banks that would lend me money, but I couldn't make the mathematics work. I mean, interest rates are much different, cap rates are much different. You know what? And I remember I had, actually myself and brother number 3, because from teams when we were kids, we were more on the team sport sort of thing. So there was that disposition from when we were just younger kids, but we had that synergy, right? And we had the banks that would lend us the money based on our proven track record, even though we're very young. But to go at market then to buy, it's just no, it's too much money for the raw land. If we had land banked from 5 years, 10 years ago, it would have been fine. But what happened from then until now, in a sense, but look what's happened to interest rates. And so even if you bought the land back then when interest rates were higher, what happened with interest rates, the value of the land shoots through the roof, so it would have been a good buy. Yeah. But in the meantime, here we are, till death do us part. Not changing this for anything. And like to buy land, the cost to build here is very high. Import duties, tax is very high. That's a consumption tax. I'm okay with consumption taxes, but no capital gains tax, no income tax, no death tax, no inheritance tax, no real estate tax. Basically, all those aggressive taxes that need to be clawed back so business can grow and thrive and prosper and feel rewarded for your risk that you've taken. Then fine. If you need to say screw, let's do it. But for me, I was like, screw it, I'm out of here. Right? Yeah. But no looking back. And people thought I was crazy.
Yeah, no, I bet they did. Yeah.
That was crazy. He said, first going to China, what are you, a communist?
Yeah.
And then coming here? All right, I don't know. I can't figure this guy
out.
Right? And then they stopped taking me seriously because I grow my hair long. That's just the chameleon.
Maybe after they watch this 5 hours we spend with you, that they'll like it.
When did you touch this property?
I acquired this land in 1996, 97, and organically grew it. Here we go. Another interruption. Another interruption.
Lovely interruption, yeah. The chef's going to have to explain this as well.
We don't mind getting interrupted.
Go ahead, chef.
Molten lava cake with some berries and strawberries and blueberries, and some chocolate syrup on top.
Chef, I love the way you put it down and then just turn the plate like a Michelin star chef. Thank you very much.
He is. There's no Michelin star restaurants in Turks Caicos Islands, but if I had my wishes, this table becomes a Michelin star.
I was going to say, you might be onto something here.
I think so. Believe and achieve, right? Quitters never succeed. Remember that. Quitters never succeed, right? Never quit. Right? That's my motto.
Oh, 100%.
Right? And as a younger man, how old are you right now?
36.
36.
Lovely.
Right? Not 20-something or teenagers. But if I can inspire Anil to be all that he can be and give him that creative flair, make mistakes, fuck up, it's okay. That's how you learn, right? But then eventually you go from good to great.
Yeah.
And then that education, regardless of who paid for it, how it was paid for, then you could really shine, right? I came here in '93. Do the math, right? So I was younger than Anil when I came here, but I'm never going back. Not to live anyways. And there's some very successful Indians in Turks and Caicos Islands too. Very successful, right? They're going to be coming to see us still.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you. Yeah.
So 97, you touched this property and you started to grow it.
96, 97, and like land is my canvas. And so I would just spend time walking the land, just envisioning, right? And, you know, you can either go out or you can go up. And again, with that horizon, it goes out. Keep it low to the ground, keep it grounded. And of course, if I went vertical from the top of this hill, you got beautiful views of the whole entire North Shore.
Right.
It'd make this real estate a lot more valuable in a sense, but that's not what it was always about to me, right? You know, because when I first started with this property, it's, remember the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Hotel California, check in but you never leave. Yeah, that was a different meaning, granted.
Yeah.
But I would joke around and say people from abroad would come and live here. This would become their home away from home. They would check in, but they would never leave as resident guests of the property. It's only eventually said, okay, you went from people, we actually have on this property, on Kokomo, there's a total of 38 cottages, plus the spa amenities, the Balinese spa, you know, this open concept kitchen and bar, this sky deck, you know, the lounge level, the private dining in behind us. It's a full service boutique resort, very private, very quiet, very tranquil, very zen, perfect for having conversations, right? Perfect for clearing the fog out of one's mind, right? And to people coming for shorter periods of stays, right? But one of the original 4 cottages out of the 38 is still occupied to this day by the original tenant that goes back, call it 20 years ago. He's still there.
Wow.
He's one of the most successful people in this country. He'll remain anonymous because that's his wishes. I call him Sam Walton. Or of the Turks and Caicos Islands, right? An incredible soul, the most well-respected expat in my books in this country, that is with people that were there this morning at Sotik, like brothers, like one could only hope of being, right? And when he's here, this is his home, and he's in his 70s now, right? Hotel California, checked in, but never left. But you know what? He knows he's taken care of. He feels comfortable here. He feels at peace here. He knows everything is taken care of like clockwork.
So I want you to tell me about the resort, start to finish. Tell me all about it, because we walked it today. There'll be plenty of this conversation peppered throughout, our images peppered throughout as we go on. But tell me about this resort, start to finish. You come through the gate. What are you expecting to find here? And you have this alive and well. I want you to break that down for me as well.
Okay. Well, alive and well, I mean, there's a whole creative process just to come up with that name, right? The original name of the company was actually called Equinox, right? We're north and south.
Yep.
You know, you have that balance again, in a sense, right? Equinox Villas and Apartments. And once I knew that this property is going to evolve from being Hotel California into a boutique wellness resort, maybe I should have used the word retreat, maybe it's more appropriate, but when it didn't have the amenities here, it couldn't have felt like the retreat that it is today. But it was just an evolution from being Equinox Villas and Apartments to Alive and Well Resorts and Hotels. It's just the name. There are no hotels.
Right.
It's just a resort. but the name has been built such that it has a whole another future generation.
Okay, yeah.
It goes beyond me. I'm that entrepreneur in the first generation. Somebody eventually will pick up that asset for a price, of course, and they could take it global. But it could be a company that's domiciled in the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Yeah.
This is where the HQ is. This is where it all starts. So as an international point of doing business, this is a tax-free jurisdiction, right? That will resonate with people out there in the world more than it is for people that are rooted here like myself. But alive and well, actually, crisis, we say problems is an opportunity.
Yep.
We're taught that in business school. We're just taught that in life. Problems, opportunity. Well, I actually learned in Mandarin, Wei Ji is Ji Hui. Wei Ji is crisis. If you hear that G sound, sounds like the letter G, that's actually a Chinese character. Wei Ji is Ji Hui. Ji Hui is opportunity. Crisis is opportunity. And it's built into the fabric, the etymology of these two words, because it's the same character, crisis and opportunity. So there's a link there, right? So alive and well came, after the 08 financial crisis. Here we had the Constitution was dissolved. The major Canadian banks that were lending here and in the region, the biggest lenders in the Caribbean have historically been Canadian banks. They were taking a licking and tightening back on their books. I've always been very risk adverse, right? I mean, I didn't like banks at the beginning because my father said, you go to the bank, get a bank loan.
Yeah.
So I didn't like to deal with them, right?
Yeah.
But, sorry.
It's okay.
On that note.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I did come by with something, a little dessert coffee. I heard you like coffee.
Yeah.
So I've got something here. I made an espresso shot, mixed it with some coconut cream, so it's a little bit sweet. And a nice strawberry, a little bit of whipped cream on the top because, why not?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Why not?
Then why not?
Why not?
And I love how you just grab the mic and you're into the podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Thank you.
Future podcast
Thank you.
host right there.
There you go.
Oh, but I have a voice for it.
Have you been on a podcast before?
I haven't.
Your first?
Listen to this.
It's your first one?
Well, once you feel so fully inspired and you see this life that's taking its own direction, then you can become a source of inspiration for other people,
That's so true.
right?
Very true, yeah.
Pay it forward,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah. That's why I like to do what I do, right? Right? For the first time you met me, sitting down for lunch in Toronto, right?
I saw the vision immediately. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There you go.
Enjoy.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
So the banks.
So, I learned a lot about banks from my father as a developer, the good, the bad, the ugly, the full 9 yards.
Right, yeah.
I've seen the double interest rates where the first number's a 2, and he was really good with math, so he was always high leverage. He chartered accountant, he had the numbers down pat, and I said, well, I had takeaways from his experience. So I'll be anti-leveraging, have low, have good, healthy debt service ratios, but have, low loan to value ratios and what have you may. So it doesn't matter what happens to those interest rates. I can keep on sailing, especially with a resilient product that can be Hotel California. But as you evolve, you can do, today we call it staycations and workations and vacations, right? So you have the opportunity to increase your incremental revenue. But when I went and did another property here in this country, and I had been banking with Scotiabank forever, but boy, if you ever want to know what it's like to be Houdini and try to drown in a puddle, always paid, never missed a beat. And they changed the amortization on me in an ugly way that meant that no way I can service this debt without selling units. And I first thought, you know what? Rent to own, help people here. But that didn't go very far because I acted like a mortgage broker. Many that I've been exposed to through my father as a developer back in Canada, I'll prepare everything, I'll pre-screen everything. I had almost 30 different local people here that wanted to buy cottages at this property. They weren't called cottages then, but and at the sister property. I think it was 26 or 27 units, and they, based on their criteria, in the end only financed 4. And 2 of them one was working for one of the richest private families in the world out of the Middle East. and another one's working for one of the most well-established law firms here. But these young women did not have any credit histories, and so because they had no credit history, you're no good, right? And I thought that's bullshit.
Yeah.
So I went to fight for them, to help them achieve. I mean, I had more people to buy these things than I could produce. And there's a chronic housing shortage in Turks Caicos right now. With the current government, you know, bless their souls for trying, but you know, they've said that we need 600 homes a year for the next 10 years to keep pace with the growth that this place is experiencing. If I was 30 years younger. But anyways, I had to change my model because of the repayment, but then I had to sell units. But ultimately I ended up selling, you know, it's not going to be the people here. So I thought it would be pretty neat to help people achieve the dream of home ownership. But then it switched to, I said, you know what, fellow Canadians. But as soon as I started selling inventory to fellow Canadians, invariably they're going to want to make some money when they're not using it to cover up their expenses, as low as they may be. Profit's not a dirty word, but they're going to want to use it sometime too. So I'm no longer playing that landlord and tenant relationship.
Right.
So I'm starting into the short-term side of things. This is pre-Airbnb, right? I remember there was this VRBO, vacation rental owner. You know, it's there to this day, and HomeAway, these different websites, portals, whatever. And I said, well, you know, we can putz with that. But then, and my father always said, stay away from resorts, Sonny, stay away from resorts, right? So we've always been hybrid. COVID was great for us. We never closed. Our revenue clock here at Kokomo, since there's only 4 cottages to this day, has never stopped, not even one day. It's like an interest clock that keeps on ticking. It was meant to, it's an annuity.
Right, yeah.
Right? You know, sometimes annuity says a better return, a lower return, but such is life. But it's not going anywhere, right? And inflation's been great for real estate. You know, so, but it with Alive and Well, I said, I've got to survive under the extreme pressures of Scotiabank. And so I got to survive and strive. To stay alive is to survive. And to stay well is to strive. So survive and strive evolved into Alive and Well. I got to stay alive and well. I can't succumb to these onerous policies that they put me under.
Yeah.
They were always paid though, right? But they say nothing personal, but it's my life. I've only invested in me.
Right.
But it's like, for so little money, with such low debt, loan to value ratios, I could drown. It's like I could be Houdini and drown in a puddle.
Right.
Because your nose is just under 1 inch of water.
Yeah.
Right? Which is wrong on so many different levels. So anyways, just as a long story short, RBC comes into play, takes out Scotiabank. Amazing bankers from the East Coast.
Yeah.
Right? You know, mind you, Scotia's from the East Coast too. But a very dear friend of mine, and like, you know, not to plug his name, but Kevin Darling, he played sports too, and the story that how we actually met each other. I was on a trip back from Beijing. It was like an American flight from Miami late at night. He's in a suit, you know, and all of a sudden, hey, how are you? Like, just talking to people, and we're there, like, we were first off the bus, so we're just having this conversation, waiting for our luggage. It turns out we have a connection. He's in Arundel, and I'm in Clarkson Park. They're rivals with high schools. Became the best of friends. And he saw through. He says, "This is crazy, right?" He said the loan was approved in 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it took me 7 years to get out from underneath Scotiabank, though. 7 years, right? Sorry, maybe you shouldn't say that, but it's the truth.
Yeah, no. I'm glad you did say it because it's complicated and it's.
It is very complicated.
Yeah.
It's wrong though.
Yeah.
Because all I'm trying to do is provide housing, right?
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't do it, but that's how. All right, people from Canada are buying, and I never wanted to sell.
Right.
I never wanted to sell, right? So, anyways, now I'm like, last night I was asked a question, you know, what inspired you to do this? And I said, it wasn't inspiration, it was desperation, right? But when the going gets tough, you got to keep going. You have to adapt. You have to evolve. Life is an evolution. You want to stay alive and well? Well, dinosaurs failed to adapt to become extinct. We've all heard that before. It sounds cliche, but that's precisely it.
Yeah.
You know, crisis, desperation is opportunity. So turn it on its head. Look the other way. Don't look down the rabbit hole. Look up at the blue sky. God is good. Goodness will prevail. Successful people never quit. I ain't quitting. Because quitters never succeed. I haven't seen many quitters out there that are successful. Like, can you guys name any?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a simple takeaway, right? So even the people that are listening to our conversation here, maybe that's enough. This is yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's the missing piece of the puzzle that I needed to hear and to believe to make a difference in somebody's life. And if there's people out there that I can inspire from this here tonight, I didn't know I was getting up this morning that I'd be doing this here this evening, no different than you yourselves did. But if there's goodness that comes out of it today, not from somebody else, but somebody that's going to hear this in the future, maybe once, maybe 100 times, awesome.
Right.
Mission accomplished. It's a more practical way to get it done, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, I agree.
But I would, just to receive you guys here at the chef's table, it doesn't have to be a chef's table, it could be anywhere, right? To share wisdom and knowledge and positivity with anybody that feels they need it, come and get it, right?
Yeah.
The kids come and stay at Kokomo. It's a retreat, but it's a resort. It's a residential resort. They're all cottage style. They're not big. You're not meant to be indoors. Get out of the box. Feng Wai, not Feng Mei as it's say in Chinese, right? And just relax, breathe, and then ultimately grow. Thanks to my friend Frankie in Toronto.
That's a great one.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
So, Kokomo, 38 cottages,
Yes.
gourmet restaurant, incredible food,
Yeah.
incredible bar,
Yeah.
doing incredible, refreshing, revitalizing drinks, a spa
Yes.
here,
Bolognese.
right? A Bolognese spa, which we're going to get into in a second. The cottages, we visited one this evening,
The yacht suite.
Yacht Suite,
Mm-hmm.
which is, it was spectacular, start to finish. The fit and finish was beautiful.
Thank you.
The textures that you use everywhere were inviting and appealing. Really, really lovely spot. As you walk through the gardens, daylight or at night,
Yeah. It's a chameleon,
Spectacular,
but
right?
you get some. It's an experience.
and you're sort of in the center of the island, and you can go do your adventures during the day and find peace and tranquility back at night.
I'm back home
You're back home.
in the middle of the island, right? Actually, if people are looking for beach, I mean, the Zoomers and the Boomers are quite different, right? Our generation always, we touched on this earlier today, right? We would like flake and bake on a beach. But this day and age, the Zoomers and the younger generations, coming in behind them, with the world that we live in today, why do the Kardashians come here all the time? From Toronto, why does Drake come here all the time? It's a great place to get away and to chill because you can be that high profile and do that here. But why does Swimsuit come here or Sports Illustrated come here? Victoria's Secrets come here. I mean, it's like heaven on earth. This place is a pearl. In fact, if you go to Google Earth and then you pull yourself out as far as you go,
I know.
Turks and Caicos, you'll see it's like a little baby blue color, almost like
Yeah.
the colors that I try to incorporate in here. And you spin the blue marble all around, you'll see that this part of the world, the archipelago of the Bahamas and the Turks Caicos Islands at the bottom of it all, especially the Caicos Bank just to the south of us here, because it's so large, it's a plateau that rises out of the deep depths of the sea. It's a pearl on the planet
Yeah.
Earth, right? So it's a great place to get away from all, but for those Instagrammable moments and what have you may.
Yeah.
But so people can, there's so many eco adventures here. Go to North, go to Middle, go to Salt, We just put up on our own website, I curated a 7-day eco adventure type of vacation people can have. And that could be corporate retreat, that could be a family, it could be a husband and wife, it could be a solo person, right? And but they can feel like, I'm back home for the day, get recharged, regenerated the next day, but you can just spend your time here too.
And the services that you offer at this resort are different. You can order ahead the meals you want. Again, food brought in from the St. Lawrence market. Every detail is thought through.
Devil's in the detail, right? Devil's in the detail. So, from a gastronomic perspective, we live on an island. There isn't a very well-developed agribusiness here. But no different than those, dragons, they're going to bloom tonight. The dragon fruit, the flowers, are going to be in full bloom now. But we will pollinate those after midnight tonight when they're fully open and they're in their prime. And just, let them have a little fun. And, in 4 or 5 weeks from now, we'll have those fruit there that are all organic. And I'm sure if Erica could get her hands on them, she will do something interesting with them on the beverage side. And if you gave it to Anil, this wouldn't be a lava cake; it would be something else. Maybe it's a dragon fruit sorbet, though, right? Who knows?
So that's another thing that we passed over quickly. This is a botanical garden in here. Tell me about it.
So we're not a beach resort.
We're going to say goodnight to our chef. I think he's going. No?
Yeah. So we're not a beach resort, but we're just off the beach. Kokomo, off the Keys, just to get away from it. We're just off the beach, but we're still close to the beach. So we have a beach club. We shuttle our guests back and forth 6 days a week on a schedule. If the occupancy is really low, then we just give them a concierge service. We'll just go down there and set the chairs out for them. They don't have to deal with any of that. They don't have to fuss with any of that stuff, right? So we have the beach attribute, but if they wanted to go to any other beach, because we're surrounded by beaches in this location, basically north, south, east, west, anywhere you want to be, you're close by.
Right.
And then you also have the ferries or the airport to go to the sister islands. So you got all these eco adventures, but maybe you want to pack a picnic, take it to the beach. They'll do that here, grab and go, right? Or you can also say, you know what, I don't want to dine in the Market Cafe tonight or the chef's table. That's where we are here. That's a advanced reservation because we pull all the meats for the St. Lawrence Market, like I said. But on the Market Cafe menu, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or brunch, I don't have room service. I have cottage service.
Right.
Right. So you just take it back in your cottage. You want flatbread? You want the charcuterie board? There's desserts there. We make an Italian panino, but we also do Chinese noodle bowls. So it's where East meets West in the kitchen and bar.
And every cottage a full kitchen in there, a galley style kitchen, and an IGA just up the road. So if you wanted to cook in your facility,
So if some people say, I'm just going to go down and have an eggs Benedict with pea meal bacon for the St. Lawrence Market, but if people says, you know what, I'm a light eater. I just need a little bit of fruit and make myself a coffee. They're all set to go there just the same.
Yeah.
Dine in, dine out.
Right.
Grab and go or whatever.
It's a beautiful place, and I said it at the beginning that it's something special when you walk in the gate. This is not your average resort. There's something different happening here. What does your ideal guest look like? What do you hope? What type of person comes here?
People that want to stay alive and well. People that, generally speaking, want peace and quiet, tranquility. Even though the music's changed behind us, right? But peace and quiet. They want to feel grounded. They want to get back to basics. They wanted to clear their mind, refresh their body, re-energize, rejuvenate. Being that it's cottage style with 2 bedrooms, so you have a lot of woman travelers, like grandma, mom, and granddaughter. With the way the bedroom's set up and whatever you may. So it's very woman-centric. But it's also equally family-centered, right? So when you have teenage kids here, and they're like, 17, 18, 19, they want their own space. They don't want to be so close to their parents. So because Alive and Well, the A of Alive is accessible luxury, island vacation experiences, but it's accessible luxury such that, we need to book 2 rooms, right?
Good night, chef.
Good night, Chef. Thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
All right. Have a good night. Awesome job. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. Thank you very much.
Namaste.
Okay. All right. Good night. So, accessible luxury. So, Turks and Caicos is not an inexpensive place to come to.
Right.
Right. But we make it more affordable because we're just off the beach. But if we were on the beach, it would be more expensive than practically everything that's on the beach.
Right.
Because our service deliverables, because we're small, it's very personalized. It's like family style. I referred to a lot of my staff that have been with me for many years. It's like, you're my Turks and Caicos family. I don't have my own blood family here, but you're my own Turks and Caicos family. Yeah. Right?
It is very accessible. It's not over the top pricing and stuff.
No. Our classic cottages, like they're under $400. It's a 2-bedroom place, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you move up depending on time of year and how many people they have in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's affordable. I feel I need to. You asked me about the inspiration. We brought Susanna in here, but it would be wrong of me not to reflect the person that started believing in me when I was only 20 years old, and that's my ex-wife. It sounds, what the hell? Where's this going all of a sudden? And Gabriella isn't here right now because her parents, 90 and 93, they're still mom and dad to me. They've been in my life more than my own parents have been in my life, based on when I started traveling in life. And they attribute they're alive today because they've been coming here for the last 30 years.
Really?
They'd come in the winter times. They says, Kelly, they thought I was crazy at the time. What are you doing? Go get a real job. Go to something. He says, no, I don't develop real estate. There's less to develop. But she's been a believer since day one. Even after, we're both remarried, but we're like brother and sister. It's still mom and dad. Her brother is still like my brother.
Wow.
But people that have always been there, right? And to me, that's how I am with people. Like, I'm incredibly loyal and I'm incredibly committed to, never throw people in the bus. Treat people as you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, she's been by your side for a lot of the ups and downs, I would
All of
imagine.
it.
Yeah.
All of it. Right? Susanna's come into my life, I guess 7 or 8 years ago, but she was there for 40 years ago and still is there.
Yeah,
right?
it's still there. And what you talk
Not in
about
the same capacity, of course.
Yeah.
No.
You talk about why come here, what separates this place, but I think you may well have just told that, and that is two people that attribute their longevity to being here
In the 90s.
in their 90s, well into their 90s.
Yeah.
They attribute their longevity to this place, coming
Absolutely.
here and winding down and breathing
Yep.
the fresh air.
Yep, totally. The air we breathe here, just given the way the air currents flow off of the west coast of Africa, you can see it by how hurricanes circulate through the Atlantic basin. So, the west coast of Africa isn't exactly polluted, right? And any impurities that may have been in the air get filtered out over the thousands of miles to get to here. So we breathe pretty pure, fresh air, right?
Are you creating a blue zone?
I'm living a blue zone lifestyle as much as I can, right? So yes, this is a natural blue zone, right? I'm actually on the creation side. I'm creating a spa residence right now that have all the attributes that we see here into a home where, like in Sardinia, one of the attributing factors to their longevity for males, I think Sardinia is like one of the only ones, if my memory serves me correctly, where the male has a chance to live as long as females, right? Because usually the males go first, right? And Sardinia in the mountains are walking up and down hills, right? So I'm creating a wellness residence, which incorporates biophilic design, a lot of materials. How I design is incorporating the principles of feng shui, the 5 elements, the water, fire, metal, wood, stone, and or earth, right? That's what you have that balance there. But that's how we find our own internal balance. People don't know what it is when they walk through those gates.
Right.
I do.
Yeah.
Because it's by design.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what Turks Caicos is. It's also luxury by design. Part of its slogan: beautiful by nature, luxury by design.
Right.
Right.
And you had a phrase that you used earlier when we were walking around. I thought was fascinating. And from the shop floor to the guest door.
Oh yeah. From factory floor.
Factory floor. Yeah.
Factory floor to guest room door.
Explain that to us.
So, necessity is the mother of invention, right? We're on an island. Everything's imported. People are imported, capital is imported, and goods are imported. Everything's imported. The indigenous population base here it's kind of like, I feel, in Canada now. It's become very, Toronto was always a very cosmopolitan city. But I feel like a minority in Canada now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel that when I was a little kid, right? I'm okay with that. Going to Italy, I was a minority. Going to China, I'm a minority. Coming to Turks and Caicos Islands, 30 years ago, I was a minority. I'm okay with that, right? We're all individuals, right? And I don't have labels, But factory floor to guest room door is, as a business model, I really consider myself to be in a logistics business, because you got people and capital and materials. You got to bring it all together. And given the import duties, well, if I'm in the building material business, then I'm not dealing with retail prices that I'm going to pay 35% import duties on, because the duty's paid on the first cost. So if I paid $1, I'm paying duty on $1, right? So if I'm a distributor not buying retail, then I'm paying a distributor price, right? Or even just a regional sales rep. You know, you get all the different layers, the two-step distribution. Well, where do most of the brands in the entire world get their products from? You know, it's all OEM product that's coming out of Asia and China. And I remember having an epiphany, because I've been in the building material business here forever. As long as tropical shipping has been sailing to Turks Caicos Islands, and I mean, they are by far the preferred shipper. Not the least expensive way to do things, but after sailing with them, as long as they've been sailing here, I wouldn't change it for anything. Good things are seldom cheap, and cheap things are seldom good, right? So, you know, I'm in the logistics business, you know, bringing this stuff in. I just use a typical brand, American Standard. And I remember on a project, because I've done a lot of construction, you know, as a contractor, supply and install contractor here, outside of being a developer, because I started by having the distribution rights for some proprietary building material called New Form Building Technologies. And I still have to this day, where people are building homes and designing homes on this island using that technology. So it's part of my day that nobody sees in this environment, right? In fact, my last email was shortly before you guys arrived here. Kelly, we need to go through these plans for this house that's being designed by an Italian in Turtle Cove, right? But that's tomorrow's business. But then American Standard, but it said made in China. American Standard made in China. I said, what the hell am I doing here? You know, I've been in this business all these years, and this is, when you come here in '93, you're not thinking about pulling building materials from that far away.
No.
But I had an epiphany one day, and I said, you know what, American Standard made in China, what the hell am I doing here? And another one of my dear friends that's been very supportive through my life, going back from when I was a teenager, you know, from my part of my Italian background, says, Kelly, you told me from years ago I should go to China. Come on, when are you going to take me? Right? This is, you know, so I don't know. I says, come on, I'll buy you your ticket. Let's go. He's like, what happened to you years ago when I said to do this? Right?
Yeah.
I said, you know, what are you doing next week? And I said, well, I'm just here. All right, fine, we're going. Right? It's one of those friends that you can tell you're doing this, so I'm going to give you a slap.
Do it.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, screw it, just do it, sort of thing. It's all right, fine. So went to China and started going to trade shows, and I love traveling. And, you know, I sit on the building material side. So rather than dealing with American Standard in America, where are they getting this made in China, and go seek out all these leading factories? Because, yeah, you get crap factories in China, but where's my iPhone made?
Yeah.
You know, and Teslas are made, and Airbuses and Boeing airplanes made these days, and every major brand automobile these days. I mean, you have lots of phenomenally good manufacturing in China, but you got to take the time to go get it. You know, and it's kind of hard if you don't even take the time to learn the language. Right? Well, I had a major quantum leap,
You did.
you know, head start on that. But but then also it made practical sense, because now I'm paying first cost at a factory in China, not a landed price after protecting, you know, unionized workers that made something off of a production line in the States.
It's a huge thing.
And it's massive. It's massive.
How come more people aren't doing that?
I don't know. They go to Alibaba, right? Which I don't do.
Right.
I should set up my own little Alibaba.
You should set up your own.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm more motivated by inspiring people than I am, but
Sure.
you can't take it with you.
Yeah,
You know? You know, so, but that's where the factory floor starts. But then with this building technology out of Canada called New Form Building Technologies, amazing company, right? Great people there. You know, they've been very supportive through the years in their own right too. And you know, but I'm supplying this technology that no one knows how to build. So I have to supply and install, right? So now I'm a contractor. And of course, if I'm supplying this material and you're working with architects and building contractors and developers and speaking their language, because I grew up with it, right? And I said, well, I know the money's in the kitchens and the bathrooms, you know, your appliances, your cabinetry, everything else. And so I got to go after those manufacturers now. So I ended up like you see on my Ghost of My Past LinkedIn profile, all that you need for all that you build.
Yeah.
And And then I had this other line, hospitality hardware.
Yes, I saw.
Right, because, well, the Caribbean, if you listen this morning, with all those ministers from all those countries, tourism and sustainable development, you know, I mean, I'm just dealing with at the factory level for that sort of stuff.
Right.
But then also, I'm a believer in real estate and investing in land. That always, that's what I grew up with, right? But you know, with this product here, first it's a place to live. But with the story that I shared with you before, I mean, I have no regrets even about all my, you know, my dark part of my life that was totally unnecessary as far as I was concerned. But you know, crisis is opportunity, and things have evolved. And like, you know, today, a lot of heavy lifting to get to this point where it's a full service boutique property with all this energy in here. But now we can do stuff like this, which is really what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is like the stage in a sense.
Yeah.
Or the table.
100%.
You know, you guys touched on to that. And that's a major takeaway for me tonight. Because I'm not thinking about those things.
Kelly, what's over the horizon? What's over the horizon? What's
Best
left
is yet
to be
come.
done?
The best is yet to come.
Yeah, tell me, what does that best look like?
Stay alive and be well. You know, I'd love to live to 120. I know it's possible. And I may never get there, but I'll never get there if I don't believe I'm going to get there. Right? So, you know, treat people as you wish to be treated. You know, my grandfather's tombstone, something that I mean, he died 2 months before I was born, so I have to go to the cemetery to learn anything from him, right? You know, silence is golden, but it allows you to focus too. And on his tombstone it says, I think it's Walter Whitman, and it says, "Let me live in my home." I said, "Let me live in my home? What do you mean, let me live in my home?" But I mean, behind some country where I have no civil liberties? That's what it says. Let me live in my home on the side of the road and be a friend of mankind. And so, you know, the people of this beautiful country, Turks Caicos Islands, they adopted me as a Turks Islander after being here for a relatively, compared to most, very short period of time. In fact, this very day, Stan, he became a Turks Islander. You know, massive investment, big projects, you know, brought so much to this country, you know, with his incredibly successful company. We arrived basically the same time. I think I might have been just a little bit before Stan. I remember Stan coming and seeing me before he started his first project, because I already had a model center set up to build custom homes using the same technology. And you know, he's actually one of my first customers because he bought appliances from me for the sands, right? And but you know, you just fast forward with your life here and what you do and how you do it. It's just a beautiful place to be. But I feel now I can inspire people that whether it's here or anywhere, it's always a takeaway.
Kelly, we often ask our guests to leave the audience with a piece of advice. What you've lived a wonderful life, an incredible life. You've enjoyed yourself along the way, and it's by your design. It's by your design.
By design.
By design. And tell me this. Well, what would a piece of advice be?
Well, you know what? Almost from like physics, we or whatever, we've learned mind over matter, right? The mind is such a powerful thing that could be like a double-edged sword. And always try to, you know, like a sailboat, you know, to counterbalance. You know, if you're feeling positive, let it go. Because sooner or later, it's naturally going to counterbalance. So always focus on the positive. You know, thought, right? You know, believe. Just believe and achieve. Now, I use that sailboat analogy for a reason because, you know, the keel underneath, real heavy, and then the light as a feather sail up above. Those are opposing forces, but they're in harmony, right? So heavy, so down, so negative. Yet a simple sail can go off in the sail into the sunset. If you look at our feather flags we have right now, it says "Come sail away" for Sotin that we done, right?
Yeah.
But to the point, believe and achieve. So just think good, right? Don't, and you won't. But like I said, positive, negative, believe bad, achieve bad. Or negative. Right? Who's to say what's bad? Positive, negative, right? You know, when you're respecting mankind, womankind, whatever, just people, environment, nature. You think good, you get good. You think bad, you get bad. Believe bad, achieve bad. And don't and you won't. You believe good and you achieve good. Don't and you won't. Right. So it's a universal concept. It's a matter of how you want to look at it at the end of the day. But that comes back to you and what you want to believe. And always remember, even when the cup is empty, that means it's ready to be filled.
Love it. Jerry, your thoughts?
Well, Kelly, you know, it's just an incredible place you built here. First of all, I want to talk about my experience with you. The moment we walked in here, it's just different. But I had to stop you when you were talking about the gate. The gate was not the beginning. It was the wall. As soon as you're driving in, all of a sudden you get hit with that wall, that rock wall, beautiful rock wall. But everything you've built here, it's different. The center where we're sitting, it's just feels right. The park benches under the trees and all that, it's just so interesting. So I can't wait to come back tomorrow when there's light. So we have a heavy day tomorrow at Sotic. At some point before we leave, we are going to get the daytime here. But I will say this, that it's hard not to reflect on the little journey that we're on here now. We're only 2.5 years into this little startup. But Alan said to me one day, he goes, Jerry, you know, what would you like? And I said, well, you know, I've been working in the media business all my life, but I like my own media company. And I'm going to say this to you, Kelly, and I want your opinion on it. I don't want to ever be complacent. And what I mean by that is the fact that we're here, we've had a lot of experiences similar to this in our short time. I still do pinch myself, but at one point, as these experiences add up, I don't want to be complacent. You get what I'm saying there? Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of asking you a question about how do I make sure I don't get complacent. As much as, you know, you asked me about my experiences, how do we not get complacent in life? And then I'll let Alan finish it up.
Well, you know, endings are beginnings. Something ends, something instantly begins. Yeah. Effortlessly, that fast. The moment you finish exhaling, you're inhaling effortlessly. So you don't want to become complacent. And you realize we're here today and gone tomorrow. Life is but a moment in time. Make the best of the moment. It's eternally now, today. Today is eternally now. So if you do today what you didn't do or couldn't do for whatever reason yesterday, and you add to that what you might not be able to do tomorrow for whatever reason, makes right now today a full day. So the sooner you start, you've done it. You're not complacent. You started. Because you don't put off what you did. You do today what you could do yesterday. You might not be able to do it tomorrow. It makes every day a full day. So waste not, want time. Right?
What a great answer. Thank you.
I don't know that. I don't know.
No, that's. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alan. Well, Kelly, there's hard to summarize this few hours that we've had together, but it was a wonderful journey.
Thank you.
That we
spent
here.
It's I feel like I've got something off my chest in a sense, right? And not negative, or something that's really just passionate inside is probably a better way to put it. You know, we say get it off your chest, you speak, you express yourself, don't repress yourself. You know, I lead a pretty reclusive lifestyle by design, and I want to keep it that way. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I can reach out and have, you know, moments of time where I can have a positive influence on whomever. That's like, amen to that. You know, that's I'll if I came to do that for as long as I've got, then you know, that's like, that would be a complete life for myself, right? So maybe we need to have people come here and just, you know, just go out there and have your eco adventures, but then we can have we can have Kelly Talks. Kelly Talks. Right? Sorry, I do have a gift to speak sometimes, but I feel I have something to say. Maybe not.
You do.
Well, no, you 100% do. There's no doubt about that, and that is a brilliant idea for people to come and share their ideas and their thoughts and walk away inspired. And if not only from you, but other people that are in the room that have gone through journeys,
Synergy.
right? Exactly right, and allow a space, a comfortable space, which already exists here, to share those ideas and create and inspire others. I have to tell you that there's something very special about this place. I encourage people to research it, look at it, and come visit and touch and feel it. It is worth the effort to be here.
Thank you.
You're truly a beautiful soul. There's no doubt about that. You're giving of your thoughts and your time and your passion about everything you do. The people around here, they act as family. They feel like family. We were welcomed with a warm embrace, just like that. And they didn't know who we were. But we were brought into this group and made feel very, very welcome. And things that you didn't notice because you were heavy in conversation, but the way your staff looked at you as you spoke, there was deep, deep respect in their eyes. So please know that, because I was watching them.
I'm often impervious to that, you know.
I was watching them, and they were listening to you talk and listening to your words, and that resonated with them in the background as they're circulating. So you're doing good things here. Keep up that good work.
You.
It was an absolute pleasure to have you on Gale Force Wins.
Get good.
Exactly. The pleasure.
Yeah.
Kelly,
Thank you.
as a digital marketer, I want to say this. How does someone find this place?
Well, you start by listening to the Beach Boys, Googling Kokomo, and you listen to that song and you realize that, all right, to get my compass bearing straight, so I realize there's somewhere off the Florida Keys to get away from it all. And then you say, okay, somewhere off Florida Keys, a place called Kokomo. I'm sure AI can assist you with that, or chat GPT to do that, but it's a botanical resort, not a beach resort. Once you hit Google or any of the search engines, you'll find that, and maybe in the future, obviously, people are like listening to your podcast, tonight. But Turks Caicos, Kokomo,
Perfect.
We're here, and come one, come all. And always remember, if you don't leave, you can't come back. Right?
Absolute pleasure to sit at your table, sir.
Yeah, well, my pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Gale Force Wins. That's Gale Force Wins, WINS.com.